In this video, we're going to talk through the process of navigating under Hammersmith Bridge and the new regulations and how to apply to get transit underneath. Make sure you watch to the end. I've included a time lapse and I'll talk through some of the tips and hints as you make your way either from Teddington outbound or as you make your way from London inbound. So let's go through the process of this now. So first thing you want to do is to head over to the Port of London Association's Port of London Authority website. You can see here, I'll put all the links in the description for the video. It goes through the process. You'll see if there's a red cross, you can't transit through. If there's amber, then you can transit if there is, if you've got a 72-hour booking, and if it is green, you don't need a booking and you can just transit through. If you click the link on the bottom here, you will see you're taken through to this next page where you're asked to fill in some details, your name, email address, phone number, your length of your craft, the beam, the draft, air draft, and all that stuff. Now down here, it'll also ask you for the reason for your trip. It's up to you to fill that information in. I'm not going to tell you why and how or what, and then also the minimum number of people. Now you can see it also asks you for a date. This should be booked 72 hours in advance, and it'll also ask you for your time slot. And as I'll talk through later, that doesn't seem to really matter. Now, once you've done all of that, you just then simply hit the submit button. It will say thank you very much, and you'll get an email. But the email doesn't give you a copy of all the information that you've entered in. As you can see here in the email that we got, it gives you some statements. This seems to really be a kind of clauses, making sure that you're responsible for, as a skipper, for making sure you've got abort processes, a passage plan in place, the minimum number of passengers, and that you've got your safety plans in place. So do make sure you make a note of the date and time that you requested your transit, or maybe take a screen capture of that form before you hit submit. Now, you need to have your abort process in place as part of the email that you receive. So one of the outbound places for abort is Chiswick Pier Trust. So it's worth contacting them and making sure that you've got availability if you need to go into there. Obviously, if you've got enough water, you can return back to Teddington and get a mooring on the non-tidal Thames. If you're heading inbound, then there's a couple of options. Hermitage Moorings down by Tower Bridge is a full all tides moorings, and also Imperial Wharf is an all tides moorings. Now, obviously, there's St Catherine's Dock, there's Limehouse, and the others, but those are tidal. You need to lock in and lock out. St Catherine's Dock is 2 hours either side of high water, and Limehouse is 2 hours either side of low water. So if you're leaving and heading inbound and you miss your window and you miss the tide, then you're going to be stuck in the tideway and bobbing around for a while. So do check that out. So we filled everything, got our booking. We'll leave Teddington Lock onto the tideway. It is tidal here, so it is a managed level. They open the tide gate 2 hours either side of high water. As you come down towards Eel Pie Island here on the left, keep out towards the left-hand side. There is a 2-meter channel, but there is a shallow bit just there. Come through the moorings and up to Richmond Bridge. Now you want to be on channel 14 listening in, because every hour they'll give you an update on Hammersmith Bridge as part of the maritime notices. So do keep a listen out on channel 14 once you come through there. Now at this point we've reached the tide gate at Richmond Lock, the Richmond Weir and tide gate. Now this is open 2 hours either side of high water, and you can just free flow through. But if, like us, we were going into St Cat's and we were tight on our time window, you need to lock through. So you can VHF channel 80 to the lock, and they will prep the lock for you, and you can then go through. So you just request channel 80 Richmond Lock, this is motorboat XYZ, request permission for the lock, and they'll lock you through. It's £8, and you can then lock through. Lock gates will open, and you're on the proper tideway now. So you run down through the lovely parts of Richmond and Ham, and all down through here towards Kew. The turning for the River Brent, for those who are going up the Brent in maybe a canal boat or a barge, comes up on the left, and you can then peel off to Brentford Lock, I think it is, there on the left. And then as you come down under Kew Bridge, Kew Road Bridge, and then down, there's Kew Road Bridge, and then you've got Kew Railway Bridge coming up. There you go, under there, there's some islands. You'll probably see some scullers and some sailing boats out as well in this sort of stretch, as you see as we pass through them. Now you'll come up towards Chiswick Pier Moorings as you come round the loop. The Thames does a kind of loop, and that's to say a fallback if you can't get through the bridge. You'll see the RNLI station there. Now as you get the bridge in sight, you want to be radioing through to London BTS. Probably at this point, London BTS, permission to transit under Hammersmith Bridge, and they will then tell you if you can. Now, why wouldn't you just go straight through the bridge? As you can see on this image here, there are two boats controlling the bridge, two barges. So you can see we've got Sea Dog and Chili Dog either side of the bridge, and there are people on that boat, and they were taking photos of boats transiting underneath. So do be aware of that. Now, obviously, the bridge has height limitations, so you need to make sure that you've got a good air draft going under it. If you've got a large flybridge boat, you need to make sure that your tide calculations are right and that you have enough water under the bridge. But that's it. We're actually early both on the outbound and the inbound for our transits under the bridge, and they radioed us through no problem at all. So as I mentioned earlier, that time that you put into the form is kind of a bit arbitrary. Try and stick to it if you can, but it doesn't seem to be a massive issue if you are slightly late either way. I hope that helps and information to help you get out and enjoy the tideway and get your boats out to sea. Stay tuned for more great videos coming up on Boating Tube.